Okay, so really happy with the way our guys played in the first half. I thought it was a complete game, offense, defense, and special teams. I thought we played really well, getting them off the field. And obviously, when you're winning with a margin like that at halftime, you've played pretty well. I thought Christian Anderson was very efficient and took care of the ball and delivered it. And he just continues to play well. Played a really good game. Marquel Broughton, just what a great spirit he is for our team on defense. So a really good first half. It gave us the opportunity to play some guys in the second half that hadn't played very much. Some second string guys that have seen action the first couple of weeks, and some guys that had never been in a college football game before. So every day they're in meetings and they're in practice and they practice the fundamentals, and it gives us a chance to put them out there and see how they do transferring the fundamentals into plays in the game. What we found out is we got to get a lot better. We got to build depth. We missed tackles. We didn't sustain blocks. We let back-to-back kickoff returns go for touchdowns. That's all very disappointing to me, because my standard doesn't drop for a second or third or fourth or whatever string guy was in there. They're one play away from being the next man up. The second stringers are one play away from being the starter, and the third string guys are one snap away from being the backup. And that's pretty close to being on the field and probably getting action. So a lot of work to do there, a lot to learn from for those guys. But it's good to get win number 3 and happy to be able to play a lot of guys and get them some experience.
All right, we'll start questions with Charles.
Good afternoon, Coach, and congratulations on the win today. Can you talk about the play of Christian Anderson, not just in this game, but the consistency of his quality of play in back-to-back games? Meaning, do you sense him being more comfortable and even more confident as he takes more reps?
Well, I think that's exactly what's happening. Is he's just gaining more confidence as he plays, and the more you heard the term that the game slows down for those guys that have a lot of experience, and really it's slowed down for him, so that even though the opponents are playing full speed and the reads are coming at him really fast, he sees it so well, and he's just become so conditioned to seeing all the different actions and angles from the defense and the different fronts that he's just doing a great job distributing the ball, handing the ball when he needs to, taking care of it when he's run the ball. I've been really proud of him for that. And so I thought he played another really good game.
Great. And my follow-up question is, several new players started the second half, for example, or what I mean is, how significant is in the long run is it for you to get the younger guys and less experienced guys real game reps, but also see a player like Wilson Cato, who's probably your 5th fullback, finally hit pay dirt, as well as getting Jabari Laws in on the last series?
It's great to be able to play those guys. And what that does is give them the confidence and the experience, so that if they do have to go into a game when the game's on the line, they're not wide-eyed and white-knuckled. They're comfortable being out there and having already played. They ought to have some confidence to go out there and do it. So probably a lot of them didn't play well enough to have confidence yet. There's going to be a lot of mistakes that we got to correct with those guys, but it's good for us to get it on film, and they practiced really hard, and I thought they played hard. They just didn't play as well as we'd like them to, but hopefully they will. And just right down to the special teams, covering the kicks, all those guys on those special teams. I think we had 8 guys that had never played on a kickoff team in a game, and so they ran down there and did the best they could. But they go through all the drills with us, and they could have used the fundamentals that they were taught to execute better on those plays, and they didn't. So it gives us an opportunity to teach them, and that clearly means we got to do a better job of coaching them and having them prepared. And probably wasn't fair of me to kick it off to that kid again after he returned for a touchdown, but fortunately we got a penalty against them, and they brought it back.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Greater. Go ahead.
Coach, congratulations. Just to ask you about the two pitch plays that went for big plays, a 58-yarder to Brandon Walters and in the first series, and then setting up the fourth touchdown, Tyrell Robinson, 70 yards. What did it take for Christian Anderson to make those pitch plays effective, and then the blocking at the line and downfield?
I think the reads were pretty easy on that first one. It was just a simple pull pitch. We were running the midline option, and they took the dive and they took him immediately, and he pitched it out there, and we had him leveraged. And Tyrell kind of got a hand on the first safety. The backside safety is the guy there, the backside corner, maybe it was, that ran him down. I think it was the backside corner that ran him down. And it just, we had him out leveraged really, really early in the play. So Brandon was able to get going. And then the long run by Tyrell was actually an inside play. So it wasn't a pitch. It was a reverse pivot handoff, and he ran through the A gap on the backside, and it popped out of there. We blocked it up really well, and he's got enough speed to outrun him.
You're closer than I am. Nate Smith on defense. He's moved up into being able to get more playing time. He had a sack and a half today. We talked to him. How has his role and his playing ability increased so that you gave him a lot of time today?
We've been playing him at both defensive end and outside linebacker. We've been doing that a little bit with Andre Carter as well, but Nate has probably played more defensive end than he has outside linebacker the last couple of weeks. And Bonsu was hurt, Duran was hurt. We had some of the starters out, and so guys like he and Chris Frey, they were going to take more snaps. We got Austin Hill in there some. So he benefited from the opportunity to play today. Did a good job.
How do you feel just getting a lot of young players in the second half of the game? We like that Shikori Williams really showed a lot.
He ran the ball hard. I was really impressed. He had some good runs. He and Wilson both did. They ran the ball hard. There were times where they were wrapped up and they had guys all over them, and they still gained 3 or 4 extra yards. That's fun to see. And Shikori's one of the strongest players on our team in the weight room. He works really hard at it, very powerful. So he did a nice job.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, what's impressive about Shikori more than anything is the fact that he practices on the scout team. He hasn't practiced on the offensive field since preseason camp. So he came in and really hasn't had any reps, and still was able to execute not just running the football, but the blocking on the perimeter as well.
We'll go Aaron Summers and Abby Carnival.
Hey, Coach. Both of the players, or a few of the players that we talked about how you put an emphasis on their ability to make big plays in the off season leading up to this year. Why was that important for you guys to be able to add that to the arsenal this year?
It's a lot harder to score when you're doing it 2, 3, 4 yards at a time. If you can hit one for 30 or 40 yards, it's less plays that you can screw up where you don't block somebody, or you have a foolish penalty that stops the drive. If you can hit a chunk play, I think it just gives us that much better chance to turn the drive into points. So we love a long drive where we eat up a lot of clock and leave their offense off the field. That's kind of the way we play. But in looking at what's going to give us the best chance to turn the drive into points, I think getting a big play or a chunk play really helps.
Yeah, it's been fun watching the very tempos at times. Thanks, Coach.
Abby, go ahead.
Sorry, guys. Hey, Coach. So first, I kind of wanted to go off that question a little bit. How much do you think UConn going free now, and then Brandon's 58-yard run on the third snap for you guys, how much did that take the wind out of their sails and kind of set the tone for how your offense was going to operate in the first half?
Oh, we hadn't had a whole bunch of those plays. T-Rob had one last week for a touchdown, which was a big play, and then he sprung AJ, I think, on one going down their sideline against Western Kentucky. But what it does is it forces their back end to really respect the pitch and not allow their safeties to be poking their nose in there when we're running the B back or the quarterback. And they, if they don't have a threat, they don't feel threatened that the ball can get pitched and we can get the blocks and gain big plays, then they can be really slow as they cross the defense and watch the whole play develop and perhaps become another player on those interior runs. So I don't know. You'd have to ask them if it took the wind out of their sails. I think early in the game, they probably made some adjustments and looked at it as just getting used to the offense, getting used to the speed. It's hard to simulate this offense when you're using a scout team. So I'm sure they, during practice this week up at Connecticut, had a difficult time simulating the speed of our offense. And sometimes that takes a little bit of time to get used to. So I thought their guys played really hard and they continued to pursue. And I think the first pitch play to Brandon, what it did is open up the opportunity to throw the ball because their safeties really got aggressive on the run, and it opened up opportunities to put it over the top of them.
Okay, that's fair. So today you guys had 7 scores from 6 different players. What is it like to have those kinds of resources and you have options? And then what does that do for the opposition when they're trying to defend all of those options?
Oh, I think probably had we just had the same group of guys in there, any one of those guys could have probably scored in those situations. I mean, T-Rob's long touchdown, he's got enough speed. When he popped out of there, he ran away from everybody. But when we're down there on the goal line and we're running those zone plays with the quarterback or the called dive plays, the zone gives to the fullback, I think most of our guys are capable of doing that. I don't know that it has as much to do with the guy carrying the ball as it does the guys in front of him blocking. And if those guys do a good enough job, I mean, you or I could take the ball and score. So it really is a credit to the linemen and the receivers and the slot backs and the tight ends, and those guys in front and even the B backs blocking for the quarterback that make those things happen.
Ken McMillan?
Jeff, what did you think about Connecticut putting Pumachan in the game today? How did it affect you guys?
It didn't. We were prepared with a game plan, and it didn't change our game plan.
You asked this team to improve every day, every week. Where does this game, focusing on the starters, fit in? And how close are you to where you think this team's potential is?
I thought the first half was a really good first half, and that was most of the starters and the guys that play. So that was very encouraging. Like I said, I thought UConn played really hard and gave great effort, but they've really struggled. That's a team that's struggling, and give them credit. They scored today, and I think they're probably getting better. But that's a team that was not as probably up to par like the team we played a week ago against Western Kentucky. Obviously, with the turmoil, having a new head coach and just the uncertainty of that, I mean, it happens. It doesn't make those kids bad players. They got a bunch of good players. Doesn't make their coaches bad coaches. They got a bunch of really good football coaches over there. They're just struggling as a team right now. So I think I think our guys played really, really well, but we're going to play a really good football team next week that won the MAC championship 2 years ago. And we're going to have to play a really good football game and not make mistakes. We made some, and not make mistakes against Miami to give ourselves a chance to win. I mean, everybody was around here the last time they came into town and the thing went to overtime. That was an incredible battle. And they're a very well-coached team. Coach Martin does a great job. He's my college teammate, and just admire the job he does. So we're gonna have to continue to improve and get better. I hope today was a step in the right direction, but I think I'd rather watch the film and get a better evaluation before I decide if we made the improvements we need to.
You spoke of the performance of the 2s, 3s, and 4s today, but just give us a general observation. How excited were those kids to see considerable action today? I mean, you were on the sideline. I mean, did you feel like a great vibe?
They were probably excited until they came to the sideline after the first drive on each side, and I was chewing their butts out. So, they got brought right back to reality that, I wasn't going to give them a pat on the head and say, good for you for getting in the game. Aren't you happy? They came off the sideline and I roasted them, which they needed because they didn't perform up to the standard. So it's important for them to get in those situations too and realize that if they don't produce, there's going to be somebody letting them know that we expect more of them. So I think they were excited to be in there and learn, and I'm sure they got better for the opportunity to be in there. And that's why I was glad that they were in there. But in terms of the vibe and all that stuff, I don't know. I mean, that's, they're college athletes and they're Division I football players, and they know the standard and the expectations, and they're probably disappointed too that they weren't more productive, which is good. I'm glad they feel that way. I hope they feel that way.
We'll do 2 more for Coach. We'll go Sal and then close out with Ken Kraser.
Hey, Coach, how good was it to see Isaiah Alston get involved in the offense today and score that touchdown? I know he had a strong start his freshman year, and just seeing him get in the end zone today.
It was great to see him get out there and make those plays. We've just slowly been bringing him along again. Coach Gaither does a great job coaching that group, and he obviously was wide open. But where we really want to get his game up to speed is on the blocking side. He's got to become a dominant blocker for us. That's obviously the biggest part of our offense, and so he's improving in that area, and that's something that we're going to continue to work with him on. But glad to see him get involved. Glad to see Ryan Jakovic get a catch. That was his first catch as a college football player, and he made a really nice catch. So it's good to see those guys get involved.